Hi out there, this is Carrie Mubarak with wooingnature.life, and this is the full moon view for my fire sign. So if you are Aries, Sag, or Leo, this message is for you. We're talking about the full moon and what your focus needs to be during the full moon. As some of you may already know, some of you may not already know. If you're new to following your moon tides and your moon energy, the full moon, the not the full moon, the full moon is the time when you are making an assessment of what you've been doing over the past month, or at least half of the month from the new moon to the full moon. But really, I like to think of it from full to full. So you give yourself a full month to kind of look at where you've been, what you set down during the new moon period, what you were focused on, or what you wanted to get done, and then you do an assessment at that time. Also, it's a time for you to balance your male and female energies, and just to get connected and just to stay connected with how the moon is moving. When you connect with your moon, either the new or the full moon, it also gets you in touch with your inner feminine, with your intuition. And so, if you're interested in building your intuitive nature, then that would be a good time to do it. So, just to give you generally and astrologically what's happening with the full moon on the 13th of October is coming in the sign of Aries in the 20th degree. Usually, when it comes in the sign of Aries, because of Aries influenced by Mars, we think of aggressive energy or aggressive emotions, anger. Frustrations are usually on the high, or you may be quick to, go off on somebody or something like that. So you want to be mindful of that during this moon period, during the full moon period. Try not to get into any kind of arguments, skirmishes. If you already know you have issues with certain people, family members, work people, whatever, like don't go there around the 13th. So a couple of days before, a couple of days after the 13th, you can expect to still be feeling that energy. Of course, when there's a full moon, there's an opposition between the moon and the sun. So again, it's like that male energy of the sun and the female energy of the moon are facing off or facing each other. They're sitting in exact opposites on the zodiac wheel. And so the sun is in Libra. Libra wants us to get together and be friendly, and has a desire for things to be fair and balanced. But with that moon being in Aries, if things don't seem fair to you, or if somebody's not treating you fairly, fire signs, then you're likely to, really lash out about it or say something about it. And it's okay to express yourself. You need to express yourself and express your feelings in the moment, but you really want to be careful during the full moon in Aries, because, you may say things, it's like the way you say it and not what you're actually saying. So you want to be really careful about that. Um, Anger issues are usually spawned or can be dealt with, but you also want to make sure that you're doing that in a good way. If you need mediation, or if you need to do that in the setting of a neutral party, a counselor or therapist or something like that, then by all means use those resources if you need to. You can channel that energy. There's a way to channel that energy into something positive. The moon is also trying with Jupiter in another fire sign of Sagittarius, which is its natural sign. So there's this desire to lighten the mood, or to do things that are playful, or to do things that involve fantasy to kind of lighten the mood. So one suggestion that I've made to people, particularly if you're dealing with family issues or work situations, work teams where there may be some issues going on, this would be a really great time for you all to do something as a group that's not related to whatever it is that the problem is. So escape rooms, or I don't know, paintball, or just something where you can take out those aggressions and take out those energies, but in a fun, positive, uplifting way. I would say to go with that route rather than to try to sit down and have a discussion about it during the full moon. That's not recommended. Um, the moon is also squaring Saturn and Pluto. Both Saturn and Pluto are in the 20th degree of Capricorn, which encourages us to work together. It wants us to get together, collaborate, put our heads together, and put our minds together. But there again, because it's a square, it may cause tension. When you are trying to work on something together, it can cause some tensions there. So I would just, again, err on the side of being light and jovial. If you're planning some kind of group discussion or a meeting to deal with issues, or if you are planning a family gathering or anything like that, where people in the group are at each other already, then I would say table that until after the new moon. I mean, excuse me, after the full moon is over with. Okay, wait for that. So if you've planned stuff like that, confabs with the work team, or or anything like that, any kind of gathering of any sort with family, friends, where there are already tensions, then I would say table that until after the full moon is over with, and then you can get back to it. All right, so I'm going to jump right in, air signs. I'm going to be working with The Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. I'm going to pull 3 cards, one one for Aries, one for Sagittarius, and then one for Leo, or Aries, Leo, and then Sagittarius. All right, so just going to take a second to shuffle. I'm going to go ahead and pull those and get right back to you. All right, so I have 3 cards here, one for Aries, one for Leo, one for Sag. For Aries, we have Here and Now. For Leo, we have Round and Round. And then for Sagittarius, we have exchanging gifts. All right, so this represents your focus for the full moon, which comes in on October 13th. So right off the bat, I'm going to take each one at a time. So I'll start with Aries, then I'll go to Leo, and then I'll go to Sag. So Aries, we got the number 32 here, which breaks down into a number 5. Number 5 represents some kind of change, right? In order for you to, which tells me you're looking for change. You're looking for something to be different. You're probably spending some time looking at what has happened in the past, and you're definitely looking forward to something new in the future, Aries. But the best thing to do when you're in this state where there's change happening, or change is imminent, or you're wanting change, is to just be in the present moment. So for the full moon, I want you to just practice on being in the present moment. I know that sometimes can be a little difficult for Aries folks, because Aries likes to get it going. You guys don't like to linger. You don't want to spend a lot of time thinking or talking about anything. You want to go ahead and get it done. But for this period, for that, those 2-3 days around the full moon, I want you to just be still, focus on the present moment, and learn how to appreciate the present moment. It's okay to look back, and it's okay to have an idea about the future, but I think you've already been doing that. I feel like you've already been doing that enough. What you need to do now is just be still, because sometimes when you're still, then things can come through for you a little faster. Honestly, I know it feels counterintuitive to you, Aries, but it does actually work. So just stay in the present moment. I feel like there's some doors that are going to be opening for you. Again, I'm seeing that right here. It looks like you're incubating something, or you may have a business idea, or you may have a project that you're working on, or you could be nurturing a relationship. It just depends. Either way it goes, whatever it is that you're nurturing, there's some doors that are open, but right now it's like, be in the moment. It may feel like they're closed, but be in the moment right now, and then you'll start to see that things are going to open up for you later. And really honor that space and honor that time. The time of stillness, the time of being in the present moment. Stay with that and stick with that. Sorry, I didn't get my light on. I think that might help a little bit. Hopefully that's better. All right, so I am also in the Sun and Moon Tarot, just for clarification, to bring some clarity to what's happening with you, Aries. Staying in the present moment is very important. Let's see. Before I get to that, I feel like I want to read out of the book. 32. It says everything happens in the now, in the present. Only this moment counts. You have what it takes to handle anything today if you let go of the need to look into the future or reflect on the past. Be present and notice what is going on right now. This very moment has the potential for you to create miracles in your life. If you're dealing with a relationship issue, it says it's easy to yearn for a love affair or a friendship you may not have right now, or that's more romantic, more fun, more reliable, more passionate. Again, like thinking about what you want as opposed to what you have. The good old days are gone. The new day has not yet dawned. Let your heart trust that you have everything that you need right now, whether you have the relationship you desire or not. Tomorrow is beyond your reach. Yesterday cannot return. The now is all that is available to you. Stay present and aware that in this moment, as you cherish and approve of your beautiful self, you are a magnet for love. So Spirit is madly in love with you right now. Did you know that? Turn to Spirit to feel the joy and love of the here and now. All right, so now I'm going to jump into the Sun and Moon Tarot. I have the Queen of Swords, so it's Queen of Swords is known as an energy that is both discerning and about business, right? You can't pull the wool over the Queen of Swords' eyes at all. She's somebody who doesn't wear a mask. She's very clear about who she is. And I'm saying she, but this relates to anybody, whether you identify as male or female, or neither, or all. You just have to be in that space where you, again, are being your full self. I feel like that goes along with it. This person is holding up a mask. I know that it's a little blurry in here. I don't know why. The light is something about light and blurriness on the camera. It doesn't work. So the light is not good. And so it makes the cards blurry, or it makes the image blurry, but hopefully you can see this. But it's the Queen of Swords says she's got her mask off and she has a sword in her hand, and then there's butterflies, which represent some transformation. Again, we're talking about being in the here and now and allowing the present moment to give rise to the next thing. But the Queen of Swords in general is somebody who you can't pull the wool over their eyes. They're very clear about who they are, and they're very discerning about what's happening around them. And so I would say to embody that energy, embody the spirit of the Queen of Swords in that. Okay, let's see what else we have. Is there anything else here? Oh, two things. Good. All right, so we got the Two of Swords and we got the Prince of Swords. A lot of swords here, a lot of swords, a lot of mental activity right now. I think that's also why you need to be in the present moment, because it will take you out of that headspace where you're constantly ruminating about thoughts from the past or thoughts from the future. I see that a lot here because you've got all these swords coming out here. Two of Swords is about making decisions. That's where this energy comes in, because the Queen of Swords is also adept at making decisions for herself. She doesn't, rely on other people's buzzing in the ear, like other people's chatter in her ear to make her decision. She knows herself. She knows what she has to do, and then she's about it, and that's a very Aries energy as well. Even though it's swords, it's an air sign, and you guys are fire signs. I still feel like Aries really kind of knows what they want a lot, or at least they don't feel like they don't know what they want. That's not a quality. And then we have the Prince of Swords too. I think it's interesting. We have the Queen of Swords and we have the Prince of Swords here. Prince of Swords usually represents a person. It could be a younger person. So there could be a younger person around you who can give you some information. Don't knock it, because sometimes young people give great advice. But also I feel like you may be growing in this regard, right? So it could be that because that also represents youth, it could be that you're growing in your ability to utilize this space and this headspace. You definitely have to prepare yourself, or put yourself in a better position to make decisions about your life. And I think that being in the present moment is really actually the best way to do it. The other thing about the Two of Swords is when you're having to make decisions, sometimes it feels like, you don't know where to go, like left or right or up or down. And I feel like you're in that space right now, Aries. So the best thing to do, again, is to just be still and know, look at all of your options, and then just be with the options that are there, and then allow the ultimate message to come through. Sometimes you don't like, sometimes making a decision is just knowing what decisions, what choices are out there for you that have to be made, and then allowing the universe to just kind of speak to you in that still small voice. And I think that's what you're looking for right now, is a still small voice, Aries. All right, that's it for Aries. I don't have anything else coming through for that. I'm going to take a moment, do some shuffling for my Leo friends, and just hang tight 1 second. All right, so we've got Leo here. Again, this is round and round. Round and round usually represents some kind of cycle, or some kind of cycle that you're in, some kind of thing that you've been going over and over and over again. I'm going to read right from Colette Baron Reid. It breaks down, the number is 25, which breaks down to a 7. So I'm going to read passage 25 for round and round for you, just so you can get a sense of what that's all about. It says, the appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you have gone backwards, the truth is that you are standing at the highest level, looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up from the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of what the initial footprints and can access the wisdom from the lessons learned. So if you've been going through like some kind of cycle, if it's some kind of thing that you feel like you've gone through this before and now you're back at it again, I think that's a classic thing for relationships, sometimes jobs too. You leave a job because you hate the job, and then you end up at another job and it's the same shit in a different form. Same thing in relationships. So if you feel like you're in that, Leo, then you want to, during the full moon, you really want to put a focus on what that cycle is and why that cycle is happening. We've got the Four of Cups here from Sun and Moon Tarot. I definitely see you sitting there kind of, pondering and thinking about what happened in the past, and then like having this nostalgic thing, or maybe it's not nostalgia, but it's like something that keeps looming, right? So you're looking at the obvious things, but you're missing the point, right? And that happens a lot when you keep having repeat cycles, especially when, they're negative. And usually we notice the repeat cycles when they're negative, If they're positive, we don't care that they repeat. We only hate them when they repeat and they're negative, right? So it's like you're looking at these things, you're looking at the obvious things, but you're not really paying attention to the real issue. And the real issue usually is somewhere inside of you. There's something that you're telling yourself, or there's something that you have believed in about yourself, or about relationships, or about the work, or whatever it is that how this cycle is coming through to you. But it's something in your thinking. It's something about the way you think about it, right? And you have to get to that. And this is a good time to do that. So during the full moon, what you want to do is focus on the cycle itself, where it goes wrong, like when things are going along well, and then this happens. And then when this happens, it starts the negative talk, or the negative thought processes, or the negative experience itself. And so, let me focus my attention on my incense before it burns the house down. Oh, sorry about that. All right. So we're talking about, dealing with these cycles as cyclical patterns, patterns of behavior, patterns of thought, patterns of activity, that you're not happy with. I'm getting here the Judgment card. The Judgment card is about coming clean. It's about being clear about what's happening. Again, what I was saying to you before, it's usually something internal. It's something that you've told yourself, or something that you have convinced yourself or somebody else has convinced you of, that says you have to keep following this pattern. You don't. You're just learning from the pattern. And once you learn from the pattern, then you don't have to repeat it again. And so what you want to do during the full moon is say, put your intentions out there and say, my intention between this full moon and the next full moon is to really deal with this cycle and really deal with how it's affecting me and how I am affecting it. Like, how am I spinning this wheel? You know, how am I turning this thing around? All right, we got the Four of Swords, which is about rest, and then we got the Six of Swords, which to me is like, you know, finding something else to do, like finding another thing to occupy your time and attention. So I am getting that you need to rest. You need to take your mind off of your problems, your issues, or either just like let your mind float away, and then as it floats away, I think that you're going to end up coming up with something else that you want to do. It could be something creative, something artistic in nature, something that really deals with the, I don't know, is it the right brain or the left brain that's creative? Whichever the part of the brain that's creative, that's the one you want to really spend some time focusing on. So in other words, don't be ruminating about this cycle. Just like let your mind go, get some rest, get some relaxation, spend time out in nature, look at the clouds float by and just float out with them. Water is also good too. If you want to get near some water, I would recommend that too. But yeah, just really get into your creative nature if you want to get your mind off of it. But still, I feel like during the full moon, you should set your intentions around ending the cycle, breaking the cycle. That's a really good focus for you. I've got 10 of Cups, which tells me that some people have their mind on something of a family nature, or they're really looking to be in that relationship where everything is good and everything, and you're connected to the other person, and the two of you together are building love, you know, love and a foundation of love, or a foundation of comfort or something like that. But again, if it's a relationship, which I feel like it may be, for those of you who are for whom this is about work, don't let me convince you it's about love. But for those of you who are dealing with some love issues, and I feel like that's probably more of you than it is the fewer of you, then yeah, that's what you want. That's what you're desiring right now. But it seems like the relationships that you're in are not allowing you to do that. It's really something inside of yourself that you've got to deal with that keeps drawing the same kind of people, either people who are non-committal or people who aren't really ready to share this experience with you, Leo. You just gotta, get there. All right, so and then the last card I'm pulling right now is the Moon card, because the Moon card, we're talking about the moon, we're talking about the full moon, and the moon really gets us in touch with our emotions, our feelings, and our intuition. Again, I'll just remind you that that moon is in Aries, so there may be some anger issues, some resentment issues, or some other things kind of buried or behind the scenes that you might want to deal with too. And I think that that also has a lot to do with what happens in this pattern and in this cycle. All right, Leo. All right, I'm going to take a moment to shuffle for Sagittarius. Hang tight. Be right back. Okay, Sagittarius, we're talking about, your card is exchanging gifts. So during this full moon period, it's a time for you to give to others and also receive. It's not just giving, but receiving. Surprise somebody during the full moon. You got a 2, 7, 9. 27 as the card breaks down to a 9. So it may be an ending of one phase and into another. If some of you are nurturing new relationships, then this would be a good time to let somebody know how much you care and how much you love them. I am seeing the cat here, which represents independence as well. So some of you are loving yourselves, giving gifts to yourself, gifting yourself with the things that you want the most. I have an Ace of Pentacles here. Ace of Pentacles is tangible things that are tangible and accounted for, things that you could actually put your hands on or whatever. I'm seeing that in the form of a gift. I'm also getting judgment again. I'm getting judgment for just about everybody. So I really feel like this full moon time is a time to make some assessments and get some clarity, get clear, get clean, like take all the stuff off. Like forget it. I got 4 naked women and a naked angel in this card. So to me, it's like, just take off all the layers, take off all of that, and let that be a gift to yourself, or let that be a gift to others too. Some people really want to get to know you, Sagittarius. They really want to know you deep in your core. I'm feeling that really strongly. Somebody around you who really wants to love you and show you love, but they may not know who you are. You've got to know who you are first, and then that will bring your own energy of the sun and Jupiter and the sun and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm seeing you joining forces with other people or with another person. I'm seeing some joy happening around you, but you just got to kill that old stuff. You got to get rid of any kind of internal conflict and the things that are happening inside of your mind around like the relationship. I definitely feel like this is relationship oriented, Sagittarius. So this exchange of gifts or giving and receiving or being in a position to give and receive, I'm feeling that that's really important. I'm going to read from the passage 27 for exchanging gifts out of the book to give some further clarity. You're entering into a productive and enriching time when all manner of opportunities are being offered to you. You have everything you need to seize them, yet in order to honor them, you must put in the time. Exchange your experience and skills and commit heart and soul to what you're choosing to pursue. You can do it. You have what it takes to be successful if you align with the law of giving and receiving. You must engage in a dance between give and take, push and pull, doing and being. If you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. This is not the time of just do. Use your currency wisely. Interesting, currency. What is your currency? And be mindful that the value that others are bringing into your life. If we're talking about love and relationships, love is an exchange of life force energy between two beings. It grows exponentially when it's reciprocated. You must give and receive in order for love to flourish and abundance to flow between you. Spirit wants you to start accepting all the blessings waiting for you, as well as offer the same gifts in return. Open your heart and allow it to be filled. Let love in and let it flow out of you too. Love is truly yours today. So the focus is on love, as I was saying, in all its forms, and just really being able to come clean, come clear, know who you are, and know who you are, and not being afraid to show it. That's what I'm going to say about that. And I feel like you'll be some positive things happening for you during this full moon season. All right, fire signs, I appreciate you all. I'm glad that you all were here to hear about this. I hope you enjoy your full moon time, your full moon rituals. Reach out if you need to dig a little deeper, or if you want a personal full moon reading, I can give you that too. Just hit me up at info@wooingnature.life or at Kerri, Kerri, at wooingnature.life. You can also check out the website wooingnature.life and check out the other services. And if you find you need them, if you have questions about the services, don't hesitate to ask. As always, I hope you have a great full moon on October 13th, a productive full moon on October 13th, and you're having a wonderful life.